this is the pot. If the pot has 20 shillings, if the pot has 20,000, the pot has 100,000, how is the pot servicing the Mwauras? So yeah, we take an allowance. We each take an allowance. What can help you make it through this month? And our allowance is similar because we realize our needs are not as much. But this pot, it goes to savings. This pot goes to tithe. This pot goes to children. This pot goes to... And when we look at that sheet, we are all on the same page. This is the direction that we're moving in. And that has really helped us in converging that mindset, because now there's no... If you're overspending on your savings, and then you're able to audit yourself and say, wow, this month my savings, my allowance has not even figured the 15th. What happened? And we are able to have that conversation. I'm like, babe, my allowance, and by the 15th, I didn't have an allowance. Why? Because I overinvested in this, because I spent here and I didn't take account of it. And we're able to have such a fluid conversation on money. It's no longer this terrifying thing. It is such an open topic for us that even our children know our money philosophy. If there's no money, there's no money. If there's money, there is... we need to budget for the things that we want. And it's been such an transformational thing for us to... I can see it in people now. I'm like, wow, that's gonna cost you.
I want to pick that point, family-wise, marriage-wise. What's gonna cost you? What's the lessons you've learned?
You don't go first.
The one for if, then.
Yes, when you're not on the same page, you lose out on opportunities. Like home ownership. For instance, when we came to you, home ownership wasn't part of the plan. In fact, it was in the distant future. When we came to you, we started merging our dreams. We realized, we can openly speak about what our dreams are because we can see how much is in the pot. We can see what is possible for us. Many women, yes, you live in a home, but you don't feel like it's your home because your husband is the one who paid for it. So he can easily throw you out. You live in a state of fear. Our children's schooling. It's incredible how just being able to see the money from one singular view, we're able to diversify the things we want for our family. We're like, oh wow, now it's possible to own a home. Now it's possible to take our kids to this kind of schools. Now it's possible to invest in this kinds of investment. Now it's possible to design our home the way we want it to be designed. It's possible to travel. It's possible to save. It's possible to tithe. It's possible to help out, because if I'm keeping my 20K, the possibilities of what I can do with that 20K are very limited. It's up to 20K. But if I put my 20K with this 20K, we've gotten to 40K. 40K is 20K more than what I had. And if we put our efforts on diversifying that 40K, it becomes so much more for us than my little 20. Yeah.
I have seen erosion of trust happening a lot because of money philosophies, where two people, so you can see that when we were starting the journey, we had very different philosophies when it came to money. And this has been an interesting finding, that whether you acknowledge it or not, you do have a money philosophy, and it drives your decision making. And so we were operating like that. But the interesting thing was that was not the only area of our life where trust was eroded. So one of the benefits that we have seen, which in cases where this is not being practiced, you can see it working the other way around, is when there is transparency on what is coming in and where it's going, then it's almost like it's an us
Versus-
against things that could be happening, right? Whether it's a work situation, whether it's somebody needs to go home and visit their parents, or me and my girlfriends are planning this thing and it's going to cost X much. I have this initiative I feel passionate about, and I want to invest in it, right? If you're not operating from the same pool, guided by the same philosophy, then guess what? We're going to be tunakula mboga, right? But I can see, or she can see me, somewhere living it up, popping bottles, right? I'm popping bottles because based on my philosophy, I have the funds.
As opposed to
You get,
Yes.
right? And the mboga is not as much a priority for me as the popping bottles. Why? Because si wanakula. You get. Then what do you end up with? Resentment. So where is he getting that money that he is spending on all that when we are like this and like this and like this, right? Trust is eroded. But when you have a shared pool, when you're having these consistent conversations, when you are truly openly bringing to the table whatever it is that you're doing, then guess what? I want to go hang out with the boys. There's something being celebrated. And this is how much I'm going to need for me to be able to do that. So she knows what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how much I'm intending to spend on it. And guess what? Because we have a shared money philosophy, she can actually question and say, but do you have to spend 50,000? You get. There's a respect there and a humility that comes with me saying, okay, I acknowledge the concern. And I know where you're coming from because of this bigger vision that we have, right? So I think I can work with 25, right? So then all of a sudden, that same situation that would have triggered a trust issue is no longer a trust issue. Because she knows why. And by the way, if I go there and we're humans and I get carried away, end up spending an extra 5,000, guess what? Part of the trust is to come back and say, by the way, I overspent.
I went overboard. What is being sacrificed?
Have you ever had such?
Yes.
Yeah, we have.
I want an example.
When I was doing the Red Step Up, I undercharged